Good morning, Lafayette. I'm your meteorologist, Brian Burden, here with a forecast for Tuesday, April 14th. It's almost tax day already. Man, this year has flown by. Seems like Christmas was just yesterday or 3 or 4 months ago, man. It wasn't that long ago, I don't think at all. But man, the year is flying by fast. That is for sure. So I am excited about some weather that's coming in and out of the pattern, but I do have to update you that I have been on the kind of sick side the last 4 or 5 days. Still kind of rumbling here this morning, but I thought I'd get on the air just to let you guys know what's going on. I'm still struggling with stuff, seeing some doctors this afternoon and then again tomorrow, and it looks like we'll see, maybe we'll start getting some answers on if we can get some help here with some of the pain that I've been going through. Those of you who know me know I go through a lot of pain, and the chronic pain is not a fun thing at all. I would not wish it on anybody. That is for sure. And then, the other things that go on along with that, with the chronic pain, are depression and a lot of other things. So I've been fighting a lot over the last probably week as it is right now. So it is kind of nice to get back on the air today after being off for about 4 days or so, trying to get through this time frame, and just say some prayers for me as we get ready to look at some weather, because sitting in the chair, at least I can at least look at some weather for you, right? That's what we're looking for today, too. We're trying to see what's going to be going on through our weather, our patterns, where we've been. It's been kind of very warm. You remember last week when we were talking, and I say we because I'm talking to you and you're with me. Some of you are chatting with me from time to time. It was going to be very warm. And I said it's probably going to hit 80 each day, even though the models keep saying 75. And sure enough, the last couple of days we've been in the 80s, and it looks like we may hit the 80s again today. So far above normal. We should be somewhere right around 63 for the high temperature in the middle of April. And your lows should be about 41. And you're not going to see a lot of temperatures like that in the forecast for this week anyway, until latter portions of the week and into the later portions of the month. We'll see what we can find. And the typical spring-like weather has been with us. We've seen a couple days up, a couple days down, a couple days up, a couple days down. This is the first extended period more than a couple days, more than 2, 3, 4 days. This is more like 5 now. We're getting into temperatures in the 70s and 80s for our highs. How long will that last? Well, we're going to take a look at it. Plus, chance of thunderstorms here this morning, so we'll take a look at that too. Let's first go, though, straight out to we're going to be seeing on the local weather right now. It's 68 degrees outside, a very warm one. Notice we're already 5 degrees above the normal for this time of the year. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now is 68, cloudy skies, feels like 66. Scattered light rain showers are expected. That is true. We'll get into that a little bit here in just a moment. This model is going for 83 for the high today. Probably was showing 77 yesterday. This is probably what it was. I didn't get a chance to look at it because I was not in much mood to look at much yesterday. 69 for your low temperature late tonight probably, and only 64 tomorrow morning. So you can see very warm conditions, and yes, there is some rain in the forecast, and rain is on the pane. Not quite yet, but just on our doorstep, just across the state line. Matter of fact, let's go right to it. Let's go to some satellite and radar shots, starting with the satellite with Lafayette being right here. You can see a line of showers just off to our northwest. A couple thunder bumpers in there for sure, it looks like, just across the state line and starting to come crossing through Champaign and Urbana, that area. And then north of us up towards Rensselaer, we're getting a lot of the blow off, but there's thunderstorms up in that direction too. Good news, early morning thunderstorms, chance of being hazardous are slim, but there is a slight chance for that. I wanted to pop that up at the Storm Prediction Center right away. Here we are today for that. You notice where the main target area is, up near the Wisconsin border, back into Iowa, into southern Michigan. Our chance is really just this morning. That's about it, where we're in this little bit of yellow. And then there may be another active cell potential later tonight, but most of that still stays north of us right now is where it's going on the active day for today anyway. So let's go back to the satellite picture. Again, pinpointing Lafayette right here. You can see us pretty easily on the charts there. We can see that we have a system, and we've kind of got our arcing little systems coming through. You got a low, then you've got a trailing cold front, and then there's another low, and it's kind of weak in this area. It's kind of quiet behind it, and we're going to get into mainly some of the quieter areas for a while this afternoon into this area here, and then we'll get into some more of the thunderstorm activity a little bit later on. What's the lightning look from this system? Well, there you go. You can see it, Lafayette right here. And what we're seeing right now is that this lightning right here in this area will be moving towards Lafayette. Matter of fact, I think the model wants to arc it kind of like this and kind of make it fall apart at the same time. You got cells back up to the northwest, right? Lafayette here, Chicago's up just off the charts right now, and it does look like we'll be able to I'm playing with the buttons here, guys, so I'm trying to figure out what does what on here. And when can I actually, like, move the chart around and do stuff with my arrow and still get my arrows that I can draw on the map. So there you go. I want to pull it down and show you what's up near Gary right now. You're starting to see Gary's here right here, and we see a line of thunderstorms that have been moving through this area. Now, remember, yellows on this specific chart are lightning bolts within the last 5 minutes, and then when you get to the darker colors, it goes farther out, like 10 minutes and then 15 minutes. So you kind of get an idea where the thunderstorms have been running through this time frame and where the option is for that. So, all right, so here we go. We'll move it back up. All right, there's the lightning that's just across the state line, kind of coming in right into the area right around Danville right now. And then, of course, it's got a beeline made for Lafayette. But it takes about an hour or so to get across the state line. So what is it now? It's 9 o'clock. Takes a little, give it a little time to get to the state line, another hour or so to get to us. So we're talking 10:30 to about 11:30 is your time frame for Lafayette to see some of this moving into them. All right, so here's what we've got now. Let's go back out here. Actually, I want to go back out to the satellite picture, and then we'll zip in on the radar. First, we'll go, what we'll do is we'll come in closer. All right, here we go. There you go. So Lafayette's right here, okay? And you can see one cell very easily right there, right? And then there's another little cell trying to pop off down here, but it doesn't look like it's got much with it. That was that second one on the lightning that we saw there earlier. Let's take a look at it there. So here's the first one. You see the second one does just a couple little spots possible. So we'll see. That one looks like it may fall apart. That's down here. All right, there it is right there. Just one or two little pops of lightning with that one to our southwest and southwest of Danville, and then Lafayette being right about here. All right, so going back to the satellite picture, Lafayette is right here just so you can see it pretty easily. Not too bad. The thunderstorms up here will miss us pretty easily. Oh, sorry about that, guys. You can tell the medicine is hitting me pretty hard too. So now let's switch it over to the radar. All right, so I'm going to go over here. Radar-wise, you can see here in close, just hitting the state line, and then back off to the southwest of that is one other cell. Now, the angles are pretty solid here, and then it turns here, makes a little turn to go back down to this one, so that makes me think this may be burnt off, but we got to watch where this bending is. Sometimes some severe weather will pop off where those bends are in the angles of the thunderstorms themselves. But right now, it just looks like one solid thunderstorm to our southwest there. And now let's go in just a little bit closer. One more shot to the Lafayette area. There we go. Lafayette's right here. And then you can see there's a cell of thunderstorms right there. It looks like it's moving straight down the interstate, does it not? So that cell may go south of Lafayette. Then we've got an opening, and we see some rain in here, but we're not seeing lightning with that. And then we've got another band of little thunderstorms back off to our northwest. So right now, all this right in here is moving directly to the east and may miss us. So we'll have to keep an eye on that over the next hour as you guys are here. And we'll come back and forth to the satellite and the radar and take a look at it and see how things are developing out there, okay? So I think right now you can see that it's going straight down the state, the interstate, which means Lafayette right here is going to get missed by this thunderstorm, that is. But if you're down at Crawfordsville, right in here, Crawfordsville to the south, you're going to run into some of that, right? I got some of these cool options right here. We can look at that. There's the cell right there. Oh, got to tell it deny, right? There we go. Okay, so there's where some of the cells are right there moving through. And then, so I think Crawfordsville and southern portions of Tippecanoe County will see this thunderstorm a little easier. And then this one may be too far to the south and looks like it's in a spot where it wants to fall apart. Look at here. It pops up and it actually looks like it gets a little smaller. It gets a little bit bigger, and then boom, it loses. But on the backside, it has a little bit of intensity on there. So we're going to keep an eye on these here in the next hour. I may pop back and forth just to see where everything's at, off and on, all right? Lightning chart now shows it has not reached the state line yet, and this is updated pretty consistently. This is right on the money within seconds of the lightning actually striking. I'm also seeing less intensity. You notice there's more of them back here in Urbana, but we're starting to see less intensity just on the south side of Danville right now, and everything to our north looks a little bit better. If it's moving west, also, you're talking the folks in the Rensselaer area and up towards the north, Remington, those kind of areas may run into something, okay? So Rensselaer is a strong possibility, and we'll keep this on here too, and we'll come back and forth to it, all right? So that's where your local and what everything is right now and what it looks like for your local. And then we always got to look at the local stuff first, right, guys? I tell you that always. You got to know what's going on where you're at before you start making forecasts of what's going on, so you have a good feel for it. So then I like to move on to things like pictures. What's the pictures look like? Well, here we are up at State Road 18. We can see clouds coming in. We see a mixture of some high clouds, some mid clouds, maybe some low clouds on the horizon there. All right, so there's potential there that we can see. Let's see if we can find the... may have to get out of this one real quick. There we go. Hide the brush. There we go. There we go. Here's 43 and 65. Looking pretty good here. Not bad at all. A little brighter there. Then you go over to State Road 25, and you just kind of see just a little mix of clouds. You can't see a lot there. Visibilities are good. Everybody's driving along fine because the thunderstorms are out to the west. Now when you come down to 26, where it hits 65, and you look back to the north, you can see the rise of a band of low clouds that has gone through Lafayette already, right? You see some of the high clouds up in here also, and then there's some mid-deck right in there, it looks like, or little shreds of this lower deck. It's hard to tell. You can see some of the lower deck right in here too. That's definitely lower than what's off on the horizon here a little bit. So you're starting to pick up some of the clouds and looking out that way. We're going to hit that Fowler camera that's way out there and see what we can see on that here in a little bit too. And then here's the Dayton one looking towards the south, and you see a lot of mid-deck up here, right, or very high low clouds. Then you see some low clouds on the horizon, and then you can see some stuff building back out towards the due south, because I think this is about due south right here, that telephone pole. Or the light pole right there, and this is about to your southeast as you look at that, all right? It just depends on where south it is. This could be more southwest, and this could be due south. They say it's pointed towards the southwest, but it's pointed towards Indianapolis, right? All right. So then we go down to the Frankfort camera, and we're getting the same thing. You're picking up some dark grays. You can see stuff out on the horizon pretty well. We're seeing less water in the fields. Look at that. No standing water showing up. You can see dark patches, though. These fields are still pretty wet down here by Frankfort, and it does look like this is pointed back towards Lafayette right there. And then on their bridge camera there, they got that, and then we go down and we generally check out what's going on for the guys down south. Let's see if we can see something on the other cameras in town. We can't see any. We're starting to pick up some of the clouds. You can see some of the lower clouds in different spots right there, but a nice dry day, at least so far, right? We go back... let's see. There's that Fowler camera way out here. Let's see what they're seeing. Yep, it's raining out there. Look at that. You see the rain coming off the back of the truck. So it is raining out towards Fowler. Doesn't look heavy at the moment, but the truck may make it look a lot worse. Just starting to see maybe a little dampness here or there in the ditch just off to the left of the highway itself. And my visibilities are still good. I can still see the horizon pretty well. That's how I know the visibility gives me a general idea how heavy or light the rain is. Right now, this is telling me it's pretty light. So we'll keep an eye on that Fowler camera and come back out to that maybe later. And I believe, yep, there we go. Covington may be in the thunderstorms, right? And, of course, the guy who's doing the Covington camera pointed it right down at the road. I know it's like this most of the time here, but it sure would be nice if they pointed it where we could use it a little bit more. A little bit of darkness over here. And then, of course, you can see there is some rain on the road already with some of the wetness that you see there. Looking back into Lafayette, let's see if the airport camera can show us anything. I think I'll zip in a little closer. There we go. Airport camera. Oh, a lot of good mix of clouds you can see on here. That's very nice, where you see the brightness of the high clouds way up above, maybe some mid-deck or some high, low deck there. Then that's the low clouds coming in, and some lower spots of clouds, also some fractus-type stratus-fractus kind of clouds in there. So you got a mix of everything in this picture. Very nice picture on the one there, right there on at the campus, right? And we went the wrong direction. Here we go. There we go down the River Road. You're starting to see some of the darkness there off on the horizon. It's about the only one it seems like it's focused back out towards the west a little bit more. So you can see some of that there on that camera. And then back to Tippecanoe Mall. Nobody's got rain on the pane so far. I'm going to keep an eye on that Fowler map. That's where we'll come back to a little bit later on, I think. All right. We'll focus on that Fowler map or picture here, maybe a couple times here in the hour or so that we're on, all right? All right, so there's where we have it. We see our cameras. We see what's going on. Now let's get to the models and try to get some prediction going on of what we think is going to happen. And the first thing I see that pops out to me is, oh, no, there's a line of thunderstorms, right? So we can see this right away. And I'm just going to zoom in with the short shot and get in closer to Lafayette, with Lafayette being right here, all right? Now let's see what's happening. This is showing us this was at 9 o'clock, right when we came on the air. Thunderstorms just out to our southwest. Not too bad. They're pretty close to where they were, right? What's the progression? The progression has it moving to the east. There you go. It does show like two little thunderstorms, one little pocket here, one little pocket here. This looks a little more overdone than what's actually out there, but that does not mean we may not pop up another thunderstorm or two around those two that we saw out there. And then it moves off towards the east, and the famous Lafayette bubble keeps the storms to our south right there. There you go. Right down the interstate is where it's shooting. And Lafayette gets some rain, and we'll probably see a couple lightning bolts, but most of the rain is right down the interstate or just south of the interstate. And this is the latest model, just came in at 11Z. So, and then it moves it on along, maybe just some scattered light shower here or there, drizzly kind of weather later this morning into the afternoon. And then, boom, we have another chance for a line of showers or a little pop-up thunderstorms coming through. And that time right there is 6 o'clock this evening. So 6 o'clock this evening, we have another chance for a little pop-up thunderstorms. So there's your two chances for severe weather. You got a little bit of a chance, very isolated here, and then this one little pocket of thunderstorms that comes through at 6 o'clock this evening could be your thunderstorm makers right there. Most of them are up here around the state line, right? That's where most of them are going to be, Illinois-Wisconsin state line. But we have a little batch right there that comes through, pops us about 6, 7 o'clock this evening. A couple little thunderstorms hang around with that. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 all around it, right? Around that system. So that's something we're going to watch. And then there's a big line of thunderstorms that pop up that go through up there later on this evening. So we have potential for that being in our area all night tonight, it looks like, and it just kind of hangs around. Then we get some of the influence of the diving front to the north of that, and we see a lot of rain popping up to our southwest. Let's look back out a little bit, and we can see where that is. See the next developing low. So we've got this arc over us and around us, staying just to our northwest of us, and we want to see if it settles down and goes west-east and then has a pivot point, or does it just keep arcing like this right now, keeping lots of people in southern Indiana, southern Ohio, Kentucky dry while we get some of the thunderstorms. And we'll see that as it goes on. Let's go back to early in the day. You can kind of see it. Here's your lows up here, right, kind of arcing through here, but there's its own little low right here on its own that's coming through this morning. Right? Kind of falls apart. It's just a little trough in the atmosphere more than anything else. Heads off towards the east and keeps on going. And then another little pop-up thunderstorms out in front of the main band of low pressure systems is popping up on its own little low, a weak little trough. Could be the tail end of this. Could be just a bump in the atmosphere right now. But the model is picking something up out there, right? And then it moves on through, same time frame. And then we watch as these lows sag towards us tonight. And we see the band of thunderstorms up here to the north that look to be the bad band that we'll be talking about later tonight, right? And then we have our next batch of rain getting ready to head towards us. Now, that's the 11Z. The 12Z is about halfway done, so it's got a little bit there. Look at how it pops out a line of thunderstorms for just after midnight. Lafayette is right here, all right? So at 5Z, just after midnight, that influence from the north is starting to pick up. It does not show the thunderstorms here as intense or as much as the other model did. This is 6 o'clock. It actually has something potentially on us by 5 o'clock, so the new run is starting to pick up that. Then 6, 7, 8 kind of moves through, but there's still some leftover intensities, some type of atmosphere where it's unstable still. And then here come our thunderstorms for later after midnight or so. Starts to push through, and even the rain to the south is starting to fall apart. But now we see a distinct low here, a distinct low there, distinct low there, and we're starting to move it through the atmosphere as we go through, and we dry out for tomorrow morning, it looks like, for the time being. And then we start to watch this out to our west for tomorrow to be coming in. So unfortunately, the rain train may be in store for us for a little while there. Let's take a look at the temperatures. I think they're going to stay pretty warm through this entire period. Why? How do we remember? We know the lows are up here. Where's the warm air? The warm air is trapped south of it. The cooler air is trapped to the north. We're not even getting that much cold air anymore. Here we are, middle of April, right? So here we are showing our temperatures in the 70s this morning, moving all the way up to like 78. There you go, 78, 79. The model even shows 79 right now. I'm going to zoom in closer so we can see the numbers a little easier. There's 80. There's 80 on Lafayette, so you can see it right there. And what are we getting with this? We are getting an influx of southerly flow. Look at the wind directions. All these little wind barbs, all these little barbs right here. I'm kind of pointing at it right now. That's a wind barb, and it's pointed to the direction to where the wind's going. We work with fromies, so the wind is from the southwest moving to the northeast is how that works. Here it's from the south at 20 miles an hour moving to the north, all right, for you. In Lafayette, it shows winds south-southwest at 15 moving to the northeast, right? And southwest here. There you go. So you kind of see how that works. But notice how they kind of fall along with just a slight deviation off of the isobars most of the time. So you're seeing a flow like this. That's why we can draw that in there so well. These isobars right here, these right there, that's what those dark lines are. Those dark lines are isobars, lines of equal pressure, right? And they give us an indication of where our lows and our highs are. Now, there's a low back over here. All right, and we have a big old high that's off the screen right over here. All right, let me see if I can draw this one and keep it at looking like an H. There you go. The high is off the screen. It's kind of holding everything off. So we're seeing all of this stuff roam and push to the north, and we keep seeing everything kind of shoot along like this. And because of that, we're seeing these warm temperatures, and we're going to see that again tomorrow. This is Tuesday on the chart. Let's see how it goes forward and see what we can do with it. All right, so here we are Tuesday, and we're moving out on Tuesday. That's today, obviously, right? And it's nice and warm at 80 overnight. Same thing. We're still seeing very warm temperatures. Here we are, 1 in the morning. It's 69 degrees still outside. Overnight, still in the 60s, upper 60s. Don't even see any lower 60s. There's 65 tomorrow morning. Woohoo! A low of 63 to 65 tomorrow morning, it looks like. So that's where we are on the new run and how far out it's got. Oh, there we go. A couple more hours. And then it starts to warm up as the day goes on tomorrow, okay? So let's go back and look. I'm going to go back just a little bit, and let's see what the winter precipitation type shows. So there we are with some scattered showers still in the morning, tomorrow morning, and then we're getting ready for the next batch of thunderstorms. So we're going to see a lot of these every, right now it looks like we're going to have some this morning, then like 6-7 hours later some more, then 6-7 hours later, midnight, we're going to see some more, then we're going to see some more about noon tomorrow or so is what this looks like it's getting ready to show us, because this time frame right here is 10 o'clock, and it's just off to the west of us. So similar time frame for tomorrow is this batch of thunderstorm right here that we're going to be running into, okay? So that's what we'll be seeing with that. right now. So that's where you are with the thunderstorms and where they are running at the moment. Okay, so that's 1254Z. We're out 26 hours on that. But we want to go out farther, don't we? So let's see what the NAM Nest is showing. The NAM Nest shows thunderstorms in the area. To the north, they have them a little bit farther north on the same time frame. They run through, kind of hit us. This is tomorrow afternoon, so we're getting to go out farther now. A line of thunderstorms. Lafayette's right here. You can kind of see things popping on here. Look at this line back out this direction, all right? What don't we want to see? We don't want to see west to east movement and setting up right over us, because then we'll get into the bands of showers and thunderstorms. But it kind of goes across us tomorrow during the morning. Do we see anything again tomorrow into the evening? It doesn't look like it. Whoop, there we go. Way out tomorrow night. Now we're talking Wednesday, Thursday morning. Another line pops in, goes through the area. Thursday morning. And then we're just scattered light stuff. We finally clear out a little later. When you go out to the bigger picture, you can see the line of thunderstorms. The high that's over here, the high that I showed you earlier, right over here, is now shifted off towards the south and to the east. And then we're starting to see another high, which is out over here, right, that will be moving its way towards us, and all the thunderstorms have developed and have gone down this direction for a day or two, right? And then we'll still see warm weather, because even this out here is not that cold, comparatively speaking, to what we are seeing right now. These temperatures out here are average to slightly above or slightly below, and that's what we will be seeing by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? This is Thursday night. It's starting to show some of the weather moving in. We can change it over to our temperatures pretty easily on this. See what we got on there, surface temperatures. And you can see here we are, 70s and 80s on your highs already on Thursday. Let's see what the actual high, it only goes out to that spot. So it was moving its way up to somewhere in the mid to upper 70s for your highs on Thursday. And you can see all the flow of the warmth is coming up right here. We see warmth trying to get its way up here and then turning east right there. So winds out of the west on Thursday. And then clearing everything out, though, by that time frame, right? Everything's going this direction and going this direction. Now your system, your front is over here, and we are getting out into the clear by Thursday, okay? So that's where it looks like there. So let's go to the NAM, go a little farther out, and temperature-wise, and what can we see? And it'll go just one more hour, and it gives us, highs somewhere in the lower 70s. It's not going nearly as high, but still warm for this time of the year. Only drops into the 50s on Friday morning, and then cascades right back up towards the 80s coming towards us on Friday. There you go. You can see that pretty easily on that as it starts to warm up. And look at what's happening right there. Look at that. Woo, you can see it coming. So here's where you're going to see the cold trying to get back in here. This pocket of cold, though, will modify by the time it gets all the way to Lafayette, and this will be Saturday. I think Saturday's weather. Let's take a look at it on the ECMF, the European model. The ECMWF, and it shows the pocket out here, same kind of general area, not exactly the same, still shows a southerly flow. It's really warm out here if it gets you during the daytime frame, right? That's where the strongest flow is right now. We're going to move along in our pattern. Here we are Saturday night right there. Now you're talking Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. All right. So that was Friday night into Saturday. We're starting to see it's still warm, 67 degrees in the morning, Saturday morning. But look at this, a very distinct line of cold, very cold temperatures back up to the northwest. Minnesota seeing temperatures in the 20s, right? Now, again, what's going to happen? I said these temperatures will dive in, right, once they come across, but they will modify in their temperatures. So us getting to the 30s may be hard to do. We'll have to see if we can do that or not. We go out on the temperature. It's very warm that day on Saturday still. And then Sunday, you're going to see it cool off. The high on Sunday may actually come at like midnight. One of those kind of things where it's like 50 degrees. And look how cold it gets. It drops us into the 30s overnight Sunday morning already, back down into the 30s. Like, that's how fast it happens. Comes through very quickly. Okay, so let's remember this time frame. Saturday during the day, there we are in the morning. There we are still around 11 o'clock. Then there's 2 o'clock. It's still warm, but look at the cold temperatures coming, all right? And then the afternoon, if there's a ball game Saturday afternoon into the evening hours, that cold front's going to go through pretty good. I'm interested to see what the thunderstorms look like with that. And then it stays chilly, right? Saturday morning, we've got upper 30s. for lows, and that's actually pretty close to normal. And then we're going to have high only in the mid-50s, which will be below normal. And then Monday, we rebound with a low somewhere around 36. And that's kind of normal, where the second day after the front goes through, we have our coldest temperatures. That's kind of just a mainstay that's been that way forever. I can remember. It works out probably 80% of the time, depending on what's behind the system, but 80% of the time it works. So 12Z on Tuesday morning. So this is 8 o'clock Tuesday morning next week. Tuesday starts to warm up, 18Z. You're warm pretty good in the afternoon. By 00Z, starting to cool off overnight. But look at this right here. Here we are again. This is at night. This is like 1 in the morning, right? 2 in the morning, our time. You can see the southerly flow, and look at it's 50. It's in the 50s here. It's in the 60s out in Iowa in the middle of the night. Same kind of pattern setting up. We're going to see some warmth again, and we rebound after the cold pretty quickly. Look at Thursday next week. This is Thursday next week, and our flow is definitely all from the south. Look at where the warmth is. All the warmth is down here, heading towards us as the days go on that day. Later that day, it cools off overnight. We've got some lows we keep an eye on. The cold is trapped to the north up here right now, but trying to get down here, right? It's trying to get down right there. It's going this direction, this direction. So we've got some kind of front running through here trying to get through the area. And then that goes through, that's kind of like a backdoor front there. And that's almost 2 weeks out, next Saturday, all right? And then it stays cold for a while, and we're back to near normal temperatures. And we have this strong southerly flow for a while. Late in the month it shows. That's what it's showing, all right? So our temperature is not nearly as warm as we get towards the end of the month, because look at where our flow is coming from, right? This is Tuesday, April 28th, 2 weeks from today, and the flow is now out of the northwest coming towards us. Big old high right here, right? Okay, and the flow around the high is like this because it comes clockwise, right? On the other side of the high, it's going this direction. So you get this clockwise flow around the high, and what's that do? It pulls the cold down for us. And so later in the month, this bad boy does some pretty good damage, and you can see it without even knowing what's there, what their showers and thunderstorms will be coming through in that big line that came through of temperature difference, right? And we're only looking at temperatures. That's it. That's all I looked at right here. So let's go and change it. Let's go back. See if we can find that spot where that line was. There it is, right here. Now let's go and see what we have for precipitation on there. And this will look a little different. It doesn't look the same as the other charts. It's got different colors to it. But look at this big line right here. Lots of thunderstorms on here for April 18th, this Saturday. Coming. Here it comes. Kind of stays to our north, and then it rushes through. But look at a lot of the energy is to the north. I can see this changing. There should be some kind of line of thunderstorms pretty bad down along here, I would think, for Saturday. We'll keep an eye on that. It doesn't show much. It shows all the energy going up to the north, and then you've got all this cold coming in down behind the system, right? And then it goes through pretty quickly. Oh, there it goes. Tries to pop some thunderstorms late. Don't be surprised if right in here we start to see thunderstorms. This time frame right here is 11 o'clock in the morning, right? So there it is there, and then by there, here we are now at 2 o'clock, and we have a little popping thunderstorms right here, and then by 5 o'clock it's past us, and it's starting to talk about it being out here. So timing will be everything with this. When does the timing come through? If it's slower, it's going to be right in here. If it's faster, it may be even out here at this point. So we'll have to see what happens with the thunderstorms. When you switch over to the GFS, and we keep an eye on this big old storm, let's see what it says. GFS during the same time frame. Now I'm going to switch back to green so I can see it a little better. I like that. All right, there we go. You can kind of see the line. You can see everything setting up there Saturday. Boom, coming through. There's the line. This is more distinct Saturday that we can see on here, to me anyway, for thunderstorm activity going through, washing through. Here comes the cold air. And look at that, snowing back up in Michigan and Wisconsin, and they're going to be in the 80s in the next couple of days too also. So going to be very warm, and then they're going to have a chance of snow. No snow really comes to us, but then we start to see remember what we saw in the temperatures. They're going to stay fairly chilly over the next few days. After the system goes through, we warm up in the middle of next week, and we start to see our flow now coming back from the south again, right? And we're seeing showers out here. We're seeing showers all the way up to the northwest, so we keep an eye on that one. And then that one tries to bring something through next Friday. Boom, same thing. Clears everything out. Woo, and there's that back end one. Did you see that? Watch this again. So we've watched this system. We see a low up there, right? We see stuff forcing its way through, trying to come like this. We see all this cold trying to come in this way a little bit. It's not too cold. It's just general change. But then watch what happens up here. And when I say up here, look it up here is what I'm talking about. Sorry, up in this area. Watch how this low turns and dives. That I believe that's the same low that went this direction. It's now coming back this way as it's been hit with something up in Canada, right? So now let's see what it does. And it dives down to the south. There we go. Look at it. The entire flow changes to here in the upper level patterns. And now the low dives to the south and starts to affect us. And if you remember what I said, the other one looked like it was a backdoor low. Something was coming out of the north. Well, that's what this is right here. It's showing the same type of weather. Look at that. Low comes down, settles in over Lafayette for Monday, April 27th. They were coming into that. So this is late Sunday night, next Sunday into early Monday morning. On this, and then let's see what it does. It kind of settles in over Lafayette with lots of moisture. So it does the same thing, but this comes in from this direction. So now we've got cold with it, right? And so then we'll keep an eye on that as it pushes out to next Tuesday, the following Tuesday, 2 weeks from today. Excuse me. That's been part of my bad feeling right there too. So, all right. So that's where we've been on that. It's kind of moving out and moving through, and then the high kind of settles in. That's where those charts show us, at least as of right now. And we saw the big temperature up, right? Then it'll be a shot of cold for a few days, warm back up again next week, and then a shot of cold where it changes the entire pattern, okay? And when I mean the entire pattern, we're talking the upper level flow. So instead of bringing systems from the south, that's where we worry about systems this time of year. That's where your severe weather is. It can mix with cold and warm. And the systems come from the north. Now you're talking mostly colder temperatures. And what you're talking is weather that's not nearly as severe. Let's see if we can go out real quick here. One more shot out. See if I can go to the North American or contiguous United States. Okay, so here's the show of this, all right? And then I'm going to go to the upper level pattern right here. Wind speeds. Boom. All right. So this is the 500 millibars. Do I got one above that? Do I got a 200? What do we got? Okay, 250 millibars. This is where we look for jet streams up in these levels. And these jet streams are your guidance of these low pressure systems, right? So when you look at this, you see flow like this, you see flow like this. So there's a jet up here. There's a jet down here also, and we have different types of jets in different parts of the atmosphere. Okay, so you have an Arctic jet all the way to the north. You have a tropical jet to the south of us, right? And then you have your mid-latitudes jet stream, which affects us. And what happens is during the winter, the mid-latitudes jet drops to the south of us. We get into the cold air a lot of times. And during the summer, especially in July and August, it wants to move to the north of us. And the subtropical jet, or even the farther south, the tropical jet gets into our region. I may be jumping my words around, but that's kind of what we're doing. So what is the flow during this period here? Thursday next week, all right, 2 weeks from now, when we're out there a little farther. Let's go back a couple hours here. Let's go back to this time frame. Look at that flow right there. Look at this right here. Woo! That's why your system dives out of the north during that day on Monday the 3rd, all right? And then you can see the jet stream south of us and the high pressure system right here. All right, that's where that is. And then you've got ridging right here, right? This is called a ridge. This is called a trough right here. Oh, I put a high in there, didn't I? Low pressure system right there. I don't know what I was thinking right there. So we call this a ridge right here where the high pressure is kind of pushing up into that area. And this is almost an omega block. An omega block. See how it almost looks like an omega symbol, which means the west coast will be stuck with its type of weather just off the coast. And this means warm air here and very nice hot temperatures. And on the surface, you'll see a flow that goes like this because what tends to happen in this kind of flow when you see this big ridge right in this area, the west coast, a high sets up over Nevada. and then it brings in the lower levels these big strong winds which dry out the atmosphere, and it gets very warm. So Santa Ana conditions, possibly. It's been a long time, and this is a long ways out, but something to think about. For us, low pressure here, that means cold temperatures are all right here, right? All right, so cold's here, warm's here right now. This is over the Rocky Mountains, back into the plains, and then right down through the Central Plains, the jet stream drops. It guides all of our systems in that direction, right? So any low that's up here, and if we go back a couple days, let's look at this real quick. You go back a couple days, see how the lows can travel along kind of west to east, but not too bad. And we saw a low like here, and then we saw one low go this way, and then we saw a turning, right, where we were. We saw some lows go this direction and one or two go that way, and then I said I thought it turned around, came back almost is the feel. Well, that's because the jet stream turned around. In that little area, still going north, right, and then boom, boom, in a day or two, it's going dead south already. Right, and so any weather that was up in here turned around and came back to us, right, so to speak. It's not the same weather, but you kind of get the idea of what happened, right? So there's your jet stream diving through during that period. Hence, let's go back and look at where it is now, right? Here we are today, right? Look at this. We have some influence from the south, right? So you got hot weather right down in here. That includes us, right? Right about here. That's where we are. Okay, that's Indiana. You got some moderating warmth to at normal to above normal temperatures here, and then you got some real cold weather trapped to the north. Everything's going this direction, right? When we get stuff coming from the south, we have better chance for more intense thunderstorms, better chance for a lot of different types of weather, right? That's what we can see there. Let's see what the jet stream does over a few days. It stays coming from the southwest, right? Here we are out on Thursday morning, right? And we're seeing the jet to the north. All right, so we got two jets in the same general area. And then they kind of still we still see the same flow through Saturday, but then we're going to get the influence of this, right? Right? We're going to get, remember we know Saturday into Sunday, we're going to get some cool air, drops in, but look how fast it continues itself on. So now your low is over here, drops in the cold weather for Sunday, Monday, and heading towards Tuesday, but then the ridge is right here starting to build back in, all right? So we watch the jet go across, and look at that. There's that kind of omega look again, too. It's not really a truly omega, but every time I see that, I think of that. That's kind of something they taught us in school. And look how that settles in over us, and then we get warm next week, remember? Latter portions of the week gets warm again. All right, this is pretty easy to see how this works out. You guys are learning this as we go through this, so I hope you're enjoying it, at least a little bit. And then it moves on, and then we start to see the changes in the jet dropping in from the north more towards us. And then towards that latter portions, there's that omega with the low that we were talking about right there where that cold is next Monday, 2 Mondays away from now. So 2 weeks from now, a little less than that is what we'll be seeing on that. All right. Okay, so that's it for those long ranges. Let's get back to the in-close stuff here, huh? First off, I want to see what the HERS looks like. I want to see what the HERS rain looks like real quick and how much change we have. We now have, let's turn this off real quick. Every time I do that, I got to go back here to get to the 12Z. It looks like it's 85% in. We're going to look at that real quick. I'm going to zoom in close on that one too. Boom. There we go. All right, so let's go back out here where we are now. Here's our time frame now, 15Z, right? So 15Z is 11 o'clock, and it shows the thunderstorms right on us with a batch going south of us, right? Which we kind of verified. There you go. Look at that. It even shows the thunderstorms getting stronger to our south of us and southeast of us as it goes through Indianapolis. And up here, we're getting the aftermath. We're just getting some thunderstorms that went through, maybe a couple claps of thunder here or there, but not nearly. Look out. There's some intensity up here, but it just falls apart. And this just keeps moving right along that one to the south, all right? And then it goes through. So what does it look like on our real-time lightning map? Sure enough, look at this. This is pretty easy to see right here, too. So I'm going to kind of put the arrows on here, going straight here. Now, the interstate runs right here. You can see it go right there. There's Crawfordsville, moves over here and goes to Indianapolis, right? There's the interstate. So right now, it's just south of the interstate, okay? I think I can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. That's where the thunderstorm is. For us in Lafayette, doesn't even look like we're going to get any lightning unless you're on the southern portion of the county, if you're down in here somewhere. Crawfordsville's right there. Here's the lightning. And look, we've tracked it right here. We can see where it's going, right? So there it is. The interstate's right here. and it's going to move right along just south of that, and it's heading that direction. Also looks like it lost some of its intensity for a little while. Now it's starting to pick back up for a little bit, right? We look back towards Lafayette, and there's no thunder at all on there. That does not mean we don't have something building. Let's take a look at the radar and the satellite real quick, and there it is. So, see what happened with the storm here. Here we are right here, right? Lafayette's right at that spot right there. Bing. And there's some light rain getting ready to come through right now. And the thunderstorm fell apart and it's moving just south right here. You can see it pretty easily right there as it moves, following it right along its trek, and it's missing us. And everything to the north just falls apart, loses its intensity, because the storm down here, which isn't that big of a storm, but is a thunderstorm, is taking all the energy that's out in front of the system right in here. Right? It's pulling all of it into it. And then this little storm down here kind of fell apart. Remember, we looked at this just a half hour ago. Watch how it pops up and then it falls down, falls apart. This one stayed together, kind of molded into one. You almost see like how it all moves into each other in a way as everything's moving in this exact direction here. Lafayette, the bubble of Lafayette keeps us protected, and we do not get the thunderstorms with that system. We do see a little line right here we're going to have to keep an eye on that. What does that do? Because you can see how it kind of runs into here. You can kind of see where the frontal boundary maybe possibly is a little bit there, the weak little front, and then the little line of trough that's coming off in front of it right here. Okay, so that's where that is on the system as it is right now. Let's see what we're talking about right now. Temperature-wise right now, what are we right now? It's 70 now. It says heavy rain. It is heavy rain. Depends where you are, right now. So if you're outside and about, you're probably seeing some pretty good rains. It does, even though it's heavy rain, it still says visibility is 9.9 miles. Usually what we consider in weather as heavy rain is once the visibility gets below a mile. That's what we consider heavy rain, really. So you can see how this kind of tells you, even though the visibility is unrestricted, that we're getting some heavy rain out of that. And that was at 9:45. That was current as of right now. So, and we're going to, it shows a little radar over here. We're not getting any thunderstorm warnings or anything like that, so we're doing good, at least on that front. And when we go back to the satellite, and we don't see any lightning on this, we see one lone one way out here. Sometimes we'll get some random ones. Let's take a quick look at that and see if there's something out there. Is there something way back over here in Central? Yeah, maybe something came out of this, so we'll watch it. But look at it, it's falling apart too. I really don't see much there. Lightning, it's all south of us right now. Lafayette right here, so we're looking pretty good on that storm front. And the Prediction Center still has us there on the edges. We have one batch later coming in this evening around 6 o'clock. And boy, guys, that's about what I've got for you right now, all right? I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling a little under the weather. So I'm going to cut it a little short. Usually I go to the top of the hour at least. And it's great to see all you out there. I see somebody's in the chat right now. And it's nice to be able to get back and talk with you guys. Wow. Just have not been feeling good at all. Whoa, lost my whole chart there. Here we go. Back to it. That's what happens when you start playing with the new buttons and you get to have some fun with some stuff. It just, I'm still a little bit under weather. I don't think I was going to go to the meeting at church today, and I think I'm not going to head out of the house again. So just feeling just enough under the weather for it. But I got a big day tomorrow. I'm talking to a doctor today around noon, and then I'm talking to another doctor tomorrow, the neurologist, to start looking into some of the things that could be happening with me and what's actually going on, and with that. And so I'll get some more answers tomorrow. Just still feeling pretty under the weather. It's been a pretty good attack. Kind of started last Wednesday into Thursday. And remember, I didn't do anything on the air Friday. And I didn't even leave the house from like Friday afternoon till yesterday in the morning. And I don't know if I'm going to run out right now. I might run out just to move and then come back to the house and sit, because I'm still feeling like I was yesterday. But I thought I'd at least get on the air and tell you guys about some of the thunderstorms today. Now, if something pops up severe later tonight with that little band of thunderstorms coming through that we talked about and we went through and looked at, right? If something comes up with that, I'm going to come back and give you a heads up on that and let you know what's going on if I see something severe in there, if I can, if I think it's important enough. Right now, we're talking small thunderstorms, and your severity is mainly just going to be wind for us. Small hail potential is out there. All right, so there is that. Let's come back out real quick. I will say goodbye, everyone. It is great to talk to you. Hopefully, I'll be on the air again tomorrow. We'll see how things go. We're heading to a baseball game tomorrow, too. Hit me up if you want. We got one seat left if you want to come with. We're leaving church about 3 o'clock tomorrow. So be ready for it in case you want to, all right? All right, we'll talk to you again. I am